The little girl turned her head towards the window and froze in shock. A massive wave, traveling at a speed of 777 meters per second, was rapidly approaching the city. The tsunami speed was so fast that by the time the police realized the danger, it was already too late. Countless seagulls flew wildly in the sky, while people on the beach saw the disaster coming and fled in all directions. One little girl suddenly tripped, and her father could only shield her with his body. When they looked up again, the towering wave was already right in front of them. In the next second, the seawater flooded into the city. In the blink of an eye, skyscrapers were snapped in half, and people struggled desperately like headless flies. But against the force of nature, it was all in vain. Meanwhile, on the other side of the city, there was a cross-sea bridge. A man narrowly escaped the tsunami and tried to calm down by lighting a cigarette. But the flame was too large, and he accidentally flicked it away. Unfortunately, the lighter landed on an oil tanker leaking fuel. Realizing the danger, the man quickly ran away. Then, the oil tanker exploded, sending a huge shockwave that overturned containers on the bridge and crashed into a nearby building. The man narrowly avoided the explosion by running for his life. But the disaster was far from over. A steel cable zipped past him. He had just taken 2 steps when a container fell from the sky. He staggered, but miraculously avoided several deadly iron boxes, even a sudden iron lock. Even more fortunate, the last iron box fell directly in front of his head. But that was just the beginning of the disaster. The entire city had turned into a vast ocean. Countless people were swept away by the water, with only a few holding onto utility poles, barely surviving, like this couple. As the 10,000-volt high-voltage electricity was about to fall into the water, the couple hurriedly climbed higher. However, the girl's arms were too weak, and she couldn't make it up. In desperation, her boyfriend told her to step on his shoulders, using all his strength to push her up. As the high-voltage electricity hit the water, he managed to climb up as well. But others weren't so lucky. They were electrocuted, their bodies shaking, screaming in agony. The water's surface became a hell, and the couple watched in horror, feeling the terror of what had just happened. But the disaster offered no respite. The man barely managed to climb higher, reaching out to pull his girlfriend up. Just then, a piece of glass fell from above and hit him, knocking him back into the water. Fortunately, a man in front reached out and grabbed him, preventing him from being swept away by the current. What they didn't know was that the second wave of the tsunami was already approaching the city.